2 on B, 3 on B.
Defuse the bomb, defuse the bomb.
Nice, man!
Hey kids, wanna learn how to play Valorant? Then watch this video till the end and subscribe to this channel. Roll the intro!
What's up world, my name is Charlatan and you're watching Valorant 101, the place where I spend hundreds of hours in custom games and practice mode so you don't have to. I'm a former professional eSports player with over 20,000 hours of experience in FPS games and over 50,000 hours wasted in video games. And today this persona is gonna teach you how to become the better sniper rifler in Valorant. In this tutorial and guide, I'm going to explain you how to use, when to buy, and how to become the deadliest sniper in this game. There are only two sniper rifles in Valorant called Operator and Marshal. They both work as a bolt action snipers, which means that they can only fire one bullet at a time. And thanks God and to almighty Riot Games, there are no automatic sniper rifles in this game. So let's jump straight into the action. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another guide with Charlatano. Today we're taking a closer look at Operator and Marshal. Operator is kind of like a buff dude. He is the gym guy and Marshal is his younger brother. Marshal is kind of like a bicycle guy. He loves to drive the bicycle. He's the triathlon guy. He's much faster, cheaper, and can escape some unwanted situations. They mostly resemble Op and Scout from CSGO. The shooting mechanics are totally different in Valorant from CSGO, and in CSGO, Op and Scout are extremely overpowered, and in this game, those two sniper rifles are extremely balanced. They really have their own purposes, and they are not something that you should buy always when you have 4,500 credits or 1,100 credits. No, they're really situational weapons. And today I'm gonna actually try to explain you when should you buy them, how should you use them, and actually how do they work in this game. The abilities and the movement in this game really impacts the whole usage of these rifles. In CSGO, movement is kinda slow. I mean, it's not really slow. The movement in CSGO and Valorant is kinda the same, but in CSGO it's much more horizontal. There are no abilities, there are no dashes, there's nothing really happening except people walking, using utility, and killing other people, basically. So these are the three basic mechanics of CSGO. In Valorant, we have abilities. People can fly, people can revive, people can walk, people can jump, shift, fly, all around. They can use spaceships. Okay, we cannot use spaceships yet, but you get the point. There's a lot of different stuff going on in Valorant at the moment. And that's why those guns are much more situational and less kinda like a OP things that you should always buy when you have money. For an example, it's really easy to counter these snipers with dash from Jett or from the Phoenix Flash or Phoenix Wall, Viper's ultimate ability, etc. There is just enormous amount of abilities that can be used to counter sniper rifles in this game. For an example, if Sniper is holding an angle like this, if Phoenix gives you a flash right here, you are dead. If for example, Breach does his flashbang through wall, you are dead. Also, Jett can fly up, kill you with ultimate, Jett can dash here and kill you that. Like, there's a lot of ways to counter sniper rifles in this game. Movement in this game really affects your accuracy of snipers. So even the slightest movement, like this, can decide whether you are going to hit or miss the enemy. In CSGO, you're able to perform flick shots, you're able to move while shooting the snipers. Well, not really move like this, but you're able to do, for an example, flick shots like this. It's really easy in CSGO. While in Valorant, even the slightest movement, for an example like this, can decide whether your shot is going to miss or hit the target. Which leads us to the next point of this guide, and that is that these weapons are really situational. You need to know when to buy them, when to use them, and how to use them. Marshal, as you can see, costs 1,100 credits, and he is the younger brother of Operator, and the second weapon is actually Operator, which costs 4,500 credits. This gun is extremely expensive for Valorant's current economy. But of course, both guns have their own benefits. So let's first start with their statistics and their damage. Number one gun is Marshal. Basically, Marshal is like a scout from CSGO. This gun deals exactly 101 damage to body, 202 damage to head, and 85 damage to leg shot at every single distance on the map of Valorant. Magazine capacity is 5, which means you have 5 bullets, which you need to reload each one at a time. Actually, not reload, but put the bullets in the chamber and then shoot, like this. You see, there is a slight delay in which you can shoot the next bullet, because the character needs to pull out that bullet. Actually, that bullet goes out, and you put another bullet in the chamber of the scout. The fire time between those bullets is actually the fire rate of the gun, which is 1.5 rounds per second, which means that you can shoot 3 bullets with Marshal in 2 seconds, like this. And that is 3 bullets in 2 seconds. The second thing is wall penetration is medium, which means the bullet will go through wood, it will go through wood, it will go through concrete, and it will go through the actual metal. But remember, through metal, the damage is gonna be the lowest, and it's gonna be really low penetration. We have the zoom mode on Marshal. We have only 2.5x zoom. There is no more zoom modes on Marshal. You can only zoom with right click, and you enter the zoom mode, and you are able to shoot your target. The fire rate actually changes when you zoom with Marshal. And the fire rate with zoom is 1.2 rounds, which means that you can actually fire 6 bullets in 5 seconds, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This gun can be extremely precise even without scoping. So even when you are not in a zoom mode, you can still hit your targets if you are precise enough. The second gun in the game is Operator. It's 4,500 credits. It's really expensive. For this amount of money, you can buy Shield, Heavy Shield, you can buy Phantom or Vandal, and you can buy all of your abilities and still have some spare credits left. So it's really, really expensive. This weapon is extremely powerful, of course. It deals 150 damage to body, 255 damage to head, and 127 damage to leg. This gun has a fire rate of 0.75 rounds per second. That means that this gun can fire 1.5 bullet or 3 bullets in 4 seconds. Like this. 1, 2, 3 bullets in a 4 second period of time. The fire rate of Operator doesn't change when you go into a zoom mode, but you are able to actually change the zoom mode on Operator. How can you change that mode? You have in controls, in equipment, you can toggle zoom level, and for me it is binded on my C button, and when I press C I zoom into a different zoom mode. This is 2.5x and this is 5x zoom mode. Also, this weapon is extremely unprecise when you are shooting without the scope, so you should never try to perform no scopes with Operator. It's really unprecise, like you are going to miss a lot of targets. Like it's totally, you see that bullet, it looked like it went through the target, but it actually didn't. Like, it's extremely imprecise. So you should always try to shoot your targets with some of these zoom modes. This weapon also has a magazine capacity of 5, but it only has 15 bullets, while Marshal has 20 bullets in the whole gun with magazine and the chamber. One more thing to note actually is that wall penetration of this gun is extremely high, which means that even through these materials like metal, you're able to penetrate and kill the enemies if you hit them at the head or somewhere in their body. With Marshal, you're able to kill a target with body shot if he doesn't have any armor. You're able to hit him instantly with a headshot if he has even a heavy armor, and for the leg shot you always need 2 shots to actually kill the target. With Operator, you can kill instantly everybody with 150 damage at body, and you can headshot enemies with an ease, even if they have heavy armor. With leg shot, you need 2 shots if they actually have heavy armor. So the leg shots are actually a part of this game as well as the part of the Counter-Strike. So you're able to shoot an enemy in the leg with sniper and he will survive, and you need to finish him off with your pistol or some other rifle. You should always be careful when you're shooting with these guns. You have only 15 bullets in Operator and 20 bullets in Marshal, so don't just mindlessly go and shoot through walls, try to perform some trick shots, I don't know, 360 no scope, etc. You should always think, aim. When you have a clear shot, shoot the target, because 15 bullets is nothing. You can spam 15 bullets through walls or through when enemies are pushing with an ease, and you will soon find yourself without any bullets, and you will only be able to use your pistol, or you'll have to pick up the gun from the ground from your teammates or fallen enemies. When you finish the round, if an enemy had an operator, for example, you kill the enemy that had operator, always pick up operator, no matter what. If you play it, if you don't play it, it doesn't matter. Maybe someone from your team wants to play operator. It's a 4,500 extra credits for your team. So always pick it up. You will not be able to sell it for money, but maybe you have the extremely good sniper rifler in your team and he will want to play that gun. It's a team game, it's not a solo queue. I mean, maybe it is a solo queue, but it's a team game. So you need to think as a good teammate. If you are, for an example, in a 1 versus 1 situation, or 1 versus 2 situation, or any situation where you shouldn't have the operator, consider dropping operator and picking some other weapon from the ground. For an example, you are in a 1 versus 1 situation. You know that enemy has planted the bomb on the site. You should always pick up the weapon that has higher fire rate, or it's an automatic weapon, because you will have more chances to kill that enemy. This clip from my previous live stream is perfect example of this situation. This video right here is a perfect example when you should drop your operator and pick up some other gun. We are in a 1 versus 2 situation. I know where the enemy's position is, so I know the enemy's jet is around the corner. Instead of trying to shoot her with operator and maybe miss my shot and lose the round for my team, I decide to pick this gun from the ground and take an easy kill with that gun. Okay, next thing, if you hit the guy with operator, he's going to die in 99% of situations. Only situation when he's not going to die if you leg shot him. If you miss the guy, you are 100% dead if you are wide open, my friends. It takes a lot of time for operator to put each bullet into the gun's chamber. As you can see right here, like, that's a lot of time in which you can die from the enemy. So you should always be holding some kind of a corner where you can actually hide and peek your enemies from them. So for an example, if enemies are coming from this corner here, you should always have some kind of corner where you can shoot the enemy, go back, reload. You should always be performing that type of action. Like, if you miss the enemy here, you are instantly dead. When the enemies hit you in this game, you are extremely slowed. And not only that, your character is also extremely slow when you're using this weapon. Just look at this. You are walking like a mother effing snail. For an example, look at this. When you're walking with knife, it's extremely faster. Like, look at this. Oh, I'm actually flying. I'm like a flash. I'm a flash. With this gun, I'm a Grandma Josephine. I'm a Grandma Josephine. And with this, I'm a flash again. I'm flash again. And back to the Grandma Josephine. But this weapon is still one hit machine to the head and body at any distance, no matter if enemies have heavy armor or not. Operator and Marshal are usually being used on a longer distances. On point blank or mid-range distances, you should always use some kind of rifle or pistol. At long range, those two guns can be deadly machines. So that means that they are both extremely useful when you are defending sites. So when you're on a defending side, you should always want to buy operator, because you're actually waiting for your teammates, for your enemies, pardon me, to come. When you're pushing sites with operator or Marshal, it's really hard to hit the enemies because these guns are extremely unprecise in this game. Even the slightest movement can really affect your bullet trajectory, and you will miss the target and you will be dead, my friend. So shoulder peeking and wide peeking with this gun is it doesn't work the same way as in CSGO. You really need to take your time aim, and shoot. On point blank distance, you should always have some kind of a sidearm with you. For an example, Frenzy and Operator is really good combo to go together, or Sheriff and Operator. For an example, you leg shot the enemy and you kill him with Sheriff one shot, 1D. You also leg shot the enemy with Operator and you finish him off with Frenzy. That is how you perform this mechanic. Or if enemy is engaging you at a point blank distance, you have two options. You can try to perform the no scope. No scope is basically when you shoot the enemy without scoping in. This is basically a gamble. It's a 50-50 situation. Maybe you're gonna hit him, maybe not. If you don't want to gamble, you can take out your Frenzy or your Sheriff and you try to kill him with Sheriff and Frenzy. So when you are on an attacking side of the game, you should always consider to buy some other gun. For example, Phantom, Vandal, Shield and Utility is much more useful than having Operator without any of this. Like, if you have only Operator and you're attacking, that is not possible in this game, my friends. Like, this is not a CSGO, this is Valorant. Because in Valorant, Peeker's advantage almost doesn't exist in this game. Both weapons are extremely accurate only when you are not moving. And even the slightest movement will make your shots inaccurate. How can you know that your shots are actually accurate and that you are going to hit the target? Well, when you zoom in, when you scope in, there is this red dot in the middle of your scope, which indicates if your shot is 100% accurate or not. When you're moving, that red dot disappears. When you stop, when you counter strafe, bam, you are ready to shoot. Bam, you are ready to shoot. When you're moving, bam, you are not ready to shoot. So you should always shoot when you see that red dot. That means that your shot will go in the way precisely where you want it to go. So this is the movement you need to perform with these guns in order to hit your shots and to use them most efficiently. So first you're running around or maybe holding a certain angle. Then you see an enemy, you stop, you scope in, you adjust your aim at your target, and bam, you annihilate that enemy. That is the basic movement set that you need to perform with both of these weapons in order to hit your targets. It's almost impossible to move and no scope. It's impossible even with scope. Like, it's really hard to perform that. Jumping and shooting with these weapons in this game is impossible, my friend. Just look at the shots, because there is not even a single moment where you are extremely precise when you are jumping. In CSGO, your shots are somewhat precise when you're at the peak of your jump. But in this game, when you're at the peak of your jump, as you can see from the red dot, you are not precise at any moment. Like, this doesn't change anything. So never jump, never run around when you're shooting. You need to stop, my friends. Aim, adjust your aim, and shoot. I know that these things sound really simple, but they require a lot of practice in order to master. Trust me, like, you won't have time to do all of this like this. Pop, pop, pop. You need to perform it in one motion. So that requires a lot of practice in order to be the great sniper rifler in Valorant. And one more thing, ladies and gentlemen, your targets will not be immovable objects. They will actually strafe and move around, and you will need to perform this type of movement really fast and predict the enemy's movement in the same time. So you need to invest a lot of time in practicing your aim and practicing this set of movements. And second type of actually shooting technique that you can use, and I explained it already, is the no scope. With Marshal, no scopes, as you can see, are really precise, and actually you can perform them with an ease. But with Operator, it's, I don't know, it's almost impossible. Like, the shots are so random that only when you are not moving, you're maybe able to shoot the target with a no scope, but I will never recommend you to no scope people with Operator. And the third shooting technique, which you can incorporate with these snipers, is quick scoping, something that my friends from Warzone and Call of Duty will understand quite easy. You are adjusting your aim and scoping in the same time while quickly performing all of these move sets. So how does quick scope looks? Basically like this. So you are not scoping all the way in, but actually firing your shot immediately as you see that your actual zoom has been showed on your screen. It's a really fast technique, and you really need to put a lot of time in order to learn this technique in Valorant. No scope, actually quick scoping, pardon me, is really useful with Operator in Valorant, but Marshal has much more quick scope potential. Like, you're able to perform this technique with an ease with Marshal and kill enemies and be more precise. So if you don't have time to fully scope in, try quick scoping and try killing targets with this shooting technique. This shooting technique with snipers is also performed when you are peeking an angle when you are attacking opponents. So if you know that enemy is peeking this angle, you can use this technique in order to surprise your enemy and try to kill him instantly. Also, if you know that he's playing that position all the time, so for an example, an enemy is always around this corner here, and he's always holding that corner. You can use the strafing technique and all the movement techniques that I taught you in this video. Watch that one if you didn't watch it already, and incorporate that with this sniper rifle technique. So for an example, you can peek him like this. So you're quick scoping and shooting the enemy. Or you can duck peek him like this to surprise him, because his crosshair is probably going to be here, and when you duck peek, your headshot is actually here. So you're able to duck peek the enemy. Duck peeking doesn't work in this game the same way as it works in CSGO. It's much harder because even the slightest movement will deteriorate your crosshair, your actual zoom, your actual bullet trajectory. The advantage that peekers have is not that high, and also you are extremely slow with the operators, so I don't know, like on attack side it's almost impossible to use these snipers. Like, you can use Marshal, but Operator, it's really hard to use Operator on attacking side. In my aiming guide, I explained how should you peek corners, how should you peek angles, and everything from that guide can be transferred to movement and shooting with sniper rifles, of course. With Operator, you have double zoom, so you can 2.5x zoom or 5x zoom. When should you use each one? This scope mode you should use always when there are more angles from which the enemies can come. So for an example, in this situation, enemies can come from this angle here, from this angle here, and from this angle here. So you should use 2.5x zoom. If you have only one angle from which the enemies can come, for an example this angle here, the enemies can come only from this side or this side. Then you can use double zoom or 5x zoom and try to be more precise in order to kill the enemies that are peeking this corner here. And now the second crucial question of this video is, when should you buy Marshal and when should you buy Operator? Basically, you should buy Marshal when you know that enemies don't have armor. So maybe in a second round, if you win a first round, maybe in second round consider buying Marshal and armor. Because if enemies don't have armor, you will be able to kill them with only one body shot. And you can also buy Marshal when you're attacking. So on attacker side, Marshal is much better buy choice than Operator. In every other situation, Operator is more powerful, but remember, this gun is extremely good on a defending side because you're actually holding an angle, so you're waiting for enemies. On attacking side, it's maybe it's better if you buy some other gun, buy armor and buy the abilities instead of this really expensive gun that's not that overpowered as in CSGO and other FPS games. So Operator and Marshals they're really balanced in this game. They have their own use. This gun is used on defending side, this gun is used on attacking side, or when you're eco, or when you know that enemies don't have the actual armor. And the last tip that I want to give you with the snipers is to always reposition yourself. So never hold one angle all the time. So if you shoot an enemy from this side, try to reposition yourself to this side maybe. Then you shoot him from that side, try to reposition to the other side of the map. Like, if you're always holding a certain angle every single round, the enemies will know that you are holding that angle and they will easily kill you. Also, if enemies have Operator as well, he will know that he has to peek you at this angle and you will be such an easy target for him. So always reposition, always move around, and when you're shooting, try to perform the moveset that I've explained you before. So always try to be stationary as much as possible, because even the slightest movement can fuck up your aim and you are going to be dead, my friend. And lastly, how can you actually train sniper rifles? How can you actually become a better sniper rifler? If you incorporate all the movesets and all the shooting techniques that I've taught you in this video and try to use them in the actual game, or try to use them in the practice mode here against the bots, you will become better sniper over time. So try performing all the movesets that I've actually taught you. So move around, stop, aim, shoot. Move around, stop, aim, shoot. And try to perform it as fast as possible. You can also try to perform flick shots, but remember, flick shots are extremely inaccurate in this game. You really need to become really good and really comfortable with using snipers in order to use them in that fashion. So, you aim, then you flick shot the enemy. You aim, then you flick shot the enemy. And one more extra tip. If you know that enemies are rushing your site, so you know that they are running, they're not walking, you can also hold this type of angle. You don't need to place your crosshair, your sniper zoom or whatever, strictly at this wall. You can also place it a bit right from the wall, so make some distance between your crosshair and the wall. So when the enemies come rushing at you and trying to take this bomb site, it will be much easier for you to hit them here instead of hitting them here, because they will come in fast and furious. They'll want to take your head, and you will have to perform a slight flick shot. And that concludes our sniping journey. If you practice Operator and Marshal long enough, you will become the masters of these weapons. There is nothing in this world which cannot be achieved with dedication and hard work. Remember guys, 95% hard work and 5% talent. Even though the snipers are not really that powerful weapons in Valorant, they still have their purpose and use. If you found this video helpful or informative, remember to hit that subscribe, turn on those goddamn notifications, and spank that bell icon so you don't miss any new content from me, myself, Charlatan. Leave a like on this video, and if you would like to see me cover some other guide or tutorial about Valorant, feel free to leave a comment down below. What do you want to see from me next? Or just leave a comment down below. I love to chit chat with you guys, but also I'm your free Valorant coach. But I'd appreciate if you'd share this video and spread the word about this channel with everyone you know. In the description you have other social media where you can follow me for some future live streams and announcements. And you can also join my official Discord server. I want to keep in touch with all of you, my dear friends. I'm yours, one and only, Warden of the Valorant community. Thank you for watching, and cut!